I'll be on soon. If there's anybody watching, you can put your questions in the comments and I'll answer. Just in case you're wondering, healthy meal. All right. Hey, how you doing? Let me know if you can hear me in the comments. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. We're just having coffee and a healthy meal here. I hope I don't get salmonella poisoning. If you eat cooked meat, you never get sick. That's the thing. So this is like the pre-show. The pre-show. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Testing. Ruby. Hey, how are you, McNello? Good. Hey, how are you, Eric? Cool. How you doing? Let me get this in place. Man, it's been for... All right, cool. Thanks, Kurt. It's been a long time since I did a live stream. Holy jeez, months and months. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. I might start doing them again. I used to do them all the time. So if you have any questions about whatever, feel free to answer. Now we got people on X too. We got X, we got YouTubes. We might have some Facebook as well. So I'm playing with this freaky lens now. It's my hobby, you know. So yeah, we'll talk about a few things that are relevant, but I'm here just to pop in, say hi, how are you guys doing, and to answer any questions. And I'm going to sip on some coffee. You got to get a coffee. You know, I do brew my own coffee, but once in a while, I like just going for the cheap stuff here. It's actually not bad. It ain't bad, given the price. So, If you got questions, feel free to answer. Yeah. All right. Hey, how you doing? So if you guys are just watching this stream, just pop it in. You haven't seen it. This is just an impromptu thing. Very little structure today, except for my coffee and my vegetable salad here. So, what else? How many people are on? We've got a small group. 40 people already. If you like the stream, please give me a thumbs up. What do you think of my freaky lens? I kind of like this. All right, so I guess I'll get rid of this. This is the official start time. We'll do the start at that time. Okay, I'll put this here. All right, so it's been a while. Yeah, if you have any questions about software development, freelancing, business, whatever, feel free to ask. Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to recommend the books. All links are below. These are so many books. So this is an interesting book you never hear anybody speak about. Recommend this book. Pick it up. It's going to freak you out. It's going to be like taking the red pill. You're going to learn. You got a couple of zoologists here who studied humans as they did apes, and they write about it, and you see that our behavior is pretty much the same as apes. I read this thing when I was like 14 years old. You can tell it's an old book. It's got the yellow pages. I still kept it. One of the few books I kept from that time. So I highly recommend. I know this is about software development, but understanding how your monkey lizard brain works has a very positive impact in terms of your life. There's no question about it. All right, we're going to answer some questions. Can you read this? Let's see if we can get this down here. I don't know if you can read. This is clear up here, I guess. Yeah. Full-time data engineer trying to get into software development. Well, this right code, man. This right code. Let's go. Hold on. My company has Laravel backend. Is it worth learning PHP Laravel as a starter for a web dev? Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of work with PHP Laravel. We use Laravel on my Studioweb application. So Laravel is very good. What's cool about learning software like Laravel, it's an MVC framework, and this is kind of a universal standard. So if you learn Laravel, which is very much in demand, and you decide you're going to boot over to Python, Django, or Node with Express.js, you'll be able to learn them very easily. So general rule, you can't learn wrong technology, so don't worry about it. What I would do is I would, learn the fundamentals so you get a good understanding of the world out there, the web world and the programming world. You have to develop what I call the nerd eyes. Like if you're blind, if you don't understand any of the technology, it's really hard for you to pick and choose what is great. And what is great really depends on you and what you're looking to do. There's all these different specializations out there. You can do mobile app development with, natively with Android or iOS with Swift. Or you can do enterprise development with C#.NET or Java Swing Boot, or you can do a small business development, which is largely PHP web. Anyway, how are you going to judge this unless you don't know your basics? So learn the basics, learn the fundamentals so you can understand, so then you can start figuring out what you like. Then you look at the job opportunities, right? There has to be job opportunities. You may think it's the greatest thing ever, X language or X framework, but if nobody cares or there's no jobs in it, then it's not going to be very useful to you, you know? Not at all, not at all. Okay, we don't need this anymore. Hey, welcome to stream, everybody. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. 65, not bad. Wow, I haven't been on in months and months. If you like me to do live streams, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like my hat, give me 2 thumbs down. Not 1 thumbs down, but 2. There you go. If you hate McDonald's coffee, give me a thumbs up. It's not bad. 7 on 10. Anko, do you think every developer should know a little bit of network, a little bit of security, or vice versa? No. Depends what you want to do. You know, you may become a developer and you may never work with network stuff. You may become a developer and you may never need to work on security. Security for web apps is really simple. You protect against SQL injection attacks, but any modern languages have their database access objects all has that built in. You lock down the server. That's more responsibility of the server person. There's some basics you have to do, but you don't necessarily have to specialize in it. Maybe spend like a couple hours on learning about basic security and just move on from there. Tech by Uzman says, how do you maintain your health while working as a developer? That's a good question. I'll get into that in a second. I have to work like 12 hours a day or more depending on the work. It's exhausting for me. Well, that sounds exhausting. So what I would suggest you do is you got to develop what I call habits of health. You have to work on integrating into your daily life things that are healthy. Walking, for example. Walk if you can. Do some walking. Number 2, stop eating processed foods. Stop eating carbs. Stop eating lots of bread and pastas. Eat natural foods, meats, vegetables, some fruit. Don't drink sugary water. Don't drink Pepsi, Coke, that kind of stuff. It tastes good, but I have coffee and it's black, no sugar. I don't even drink milk. You gotta drink a lot of water. So you gotta start every day, maybe once an hour, go out, take a cup of water, drink water. Maybe drop down, do 10 push-ups once every hour or 2. Just go down, do 10 push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you're done. And you start doing that every day. And I know, if you're working 12 hours a day, it's very difficult to have to go to a gym or something. So what you want to do, Tech by Uzman, I suggest integrating healthy habits. Trust me, what happens when you do that? your energy levels will explode. Your mood will get better. You start losing weight. You start feeling better. Your cognitive capacity will get better and better. The only thing that won't happen, the hair won't grow back. Believe me, the hair doesn't grow back. That's the downside. But besides that, everything else is positive. So that's how I would do it. Do you use AI? I do use it a little bit. I do. I recommend learning AI, using it, getting to know it. It's not your enemy. It's your friend, for sure. Yes, you can. You can definitely freelance web dev in a small town. Why? Because you can, we have the thing called the internets, the webs, and you can start getting contracts outside of a small town by putting up some good websites. So yes, definitely you can. Yeah. How you get customers for freelance? You can look up, I did some videos on that. You can look that up, but it starts with getting a good-looking website up and running so that people can find you. Then you start targeting, writing some SEO, you start writing some articles that are SEO friendly for your website, and and you build it up from there, start talking to people. I do radio today, so it's only 3 minutes, then walk for 20 minutes at a time. Okay, that's good. Good exercise. Yeah. Exercise is good. Is this going to be readable? I don't know if that's reasonable. Let me know if you guys can read it when the text overlays are down here versus up here. I think it's cleaner up here. Yeah, it's been a while since Okay, let me know. Sorry, guys. Brian. I'm finding a lot of dev jobs on Indeed require bachelor's. If you have what you feel like is a very impressive portfolio and you do not have a degree, should you still submit the app? Yeah, I would, typically speaking, in the web dev world, work experience, provable experience, not homemade projects, but provable experience goes a long way. So what's impressive to your prospective employer are projects related to the work that they do. So if they're, Python AI house, that's what they're going to want to see. If they're a Laravel PHP house, that's what they're going to want to see. Kyle Billy. Hold on, get it up here. It's easier to read up here. I sent you a message on Gmail. I really want to change my life. It's true. Many older people, 65, 75, get into the web development. So glad I found you. Yeah, without a doubt. As you get older, I'm the world's oldest developer, at least that's what I tell people. And I can tell you, as you get older, health becomes more apparent. So one of the things you have to do as you get older, whether you're getting into the web development or not, yes, you can do it in that age, but you have to get healthy. And that means you have to start eating well, doing what I suggest, get off of processed foods, eat well, blah, 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 exercise daily. Trust me, you have a lot more energy. I know people in that age range and older who have lots of energy and are still doing a lot because they eat well, they exercise on a regular basis, they sleep, they drink a lot of water. Very important. For me at this time, I have to tell you, my health supersedes anything else I do. It's much more important to me. I'd rather be poor and healthy than rich and sick, personally. Better to be rich and healthy, but I definitely doable at that age. But but you have to have that energy, and you need the energy comes from the food. First thing I'd be doing now is looking at if you got a lot of excess fat. You out of shape, you don't exercise, you got to start doing it, you got to start eating healthy. Then you have the energy, and you have the energy to pursue web development and so forth. So, yeah. Is the programming community more friendly and supportive or more competitive? I think like any other community, Carol, it depends on which community, Like, for example, if you look at the link below, I do have a Discord server. And last time I checked, it was a few thousand people. It was very friendly. Everything's cool, So yeah, depends on the individuals like anything else. Although there tends to be some people on the spectrum in the coding world, so they may have some challenges vis-a-vis the nuances of interpersonal communication. So keep that in mind. I appreciate the thumbs up, guys. Give me the thumbs. Come on, you're gonna give me your thumbs. Look at this bokeh hand, bokeh thumb. So yeah, because the thumb game is pretty weak right now. Okay, before I answer some more questions, so I did the first book, links below, called Naked Ape. Highly recommend. You're gonna read this. It's a page turner, and it's gonna change and transform your understanding of your whole existence. So Naked Ape. Number 2, if you're a total beginner, I have a book I wrote like 800 years ago, but it's actually still relevant. Everything I teach in this book is for a total beginner in web design, is 100% relevant today. You can get it on Amazon. You get it cheap now. I don't make any money on this. I got my upfront money, and that was it. So web design, start here. Start here with Uncle Steph. And yeah, this is the book. Get this on Amazon. Total beginners, HTML, CSS, a little bit of JavaScript. That's the book. So final book recommendation. If you are a developer and you actually, let me stretch you. If you know the basics of web design and development, yeah, you can go. There's one on Java. This is for people who already know how to write code or software developers. This is the next skill. This will level up your skill if you don't know this stuff yet. Refactoring, highly recommended. This is the Java version. One of the few books I have from that time frame. And there's a JavaScript version as well. So this is what I recommend. Yeah, I do consults. I do have a mentoring program. Is actually quite, let me just put it in here. Hold on. I should actually do this. UncleSteph.com. Okay, why is that doing that? I didn't say space. All right, good. All right, add that. There we go. There, you want to learn about what I do and some of my consulting, you can go there, UncleSteph.com. Yeah. All right. Actually, you know what? Put this down here. Sorry. There we go. So what do we got here? Can I start freelancing at the age of 15? Why not? Make sure you work with your parents, Don't meet anybody privately. I would start with the web, do some WordPress stuff, but start working on it. It's a good age. If you're wondering about your age, if I were, I would give away all my money. If I could be 15 again, I would give away all my money. I would say, all right, I'm in. So that's a good age to be. Congratulations. So yeah, I do consulting. You can check out Uncle Steph. The whole mentoring program, which is all about, getting personal consulting with me. I actually bought your web design book. While also I think not being on social media helps with focus. Speaking of which, DHH of Ruby Rails and Matt from WordPress is fighting on X right now. Oh, oh really? There you go. Yeah. The internal rivalry. I'll put this here, maybe. Cool. Yeah, I should take a look. I'm studying coding at Udacity. I'm a slow typer. Will that hinder me? No. Speed of typing is not really that important when it comes to coding. No, sir, because we have something called code editors. Just check out UncleSteph.com, and I do have, well, what do you want to consult on, Carol? Give me your, okay. I'm about to go into an accelerated bachelor's program next month for CS. That's good. Learning Python, JavaScript, and PHP. Not sure how to start. Yeah, just start with the basics. The key to mastering all this stuff is with the basics. So learn your basics, and you will be fine. You will be fine. Yeah, nice car there, Corvette. Hi, Stefan. You're absolutely right. Health is indeed another form of wealth. Taking care of your health is essential, especially when facing various financial challenges. No kidding. No kidding. No kidding. Additionally, the lesson about FU money is crucial. Yeah, FU money is basically emergency money. One of the first things you want to do is you want to put together an emergency fund. I recommend minimum 6 months. What does that mean? It's enough money to cover all your expenses, your rent or mortgage, food, everything for 6 months minimum. And this way, life will be so much easier, so much easier. A lot less pressure on you when you know you don't need a check next month, right? I recommend a year, especially if you're freelancing. This way, you're sitting pretty. You start feeling really good about yourself when you know you don't need to work for a year. Now, when you don't need to work for 5 years, is even better. When you don't need to work for 25 years, is even better, and so on. So, get that FU money. It's very important. Do you still eat carbs, Uncle Steph? I do, but not nearly as much as I used to. I go off and on a carb-free diet every now and then. I have to tell you, when I don't eat processed foods and carbs, I feel much better. It's unbelievable. There you go. That's interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of psychology behind that. Too much social media, except for Uncle Steph. Too much social media is not good for you. It's like poison. Poison. Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me just get a bite. Always professional here, eating while doing a live stream. Kiros, excuse me. Do you think building a small SaaS is software as a service? Basically, you build a piece of software and you have people pay you for it. Run by only you or a few others generating less than 1 million RRR is underrated. I don't know what ARR is. Put that in US dollars for me. I like small SaaSes. Personally, I've had a few of them. Some make me, $50,000 a year. Some make me $100,000 a year, Some make me $10,000 a year, etc. But small SaaSes that have zero to no employees, or little to no employees, is a very good position to be in. It's great. So yeah, there's this guy who was on a big podcast. The guy who wears a black suit and a black tie, Russian guy. Anyway, he had some big developer on there, and he has makes a few $1 million a year on the little SaaSes that he has. It's just him while having 1 or 2 assistants. I think the Telegram guy is now in jail. But the Telegram guy, I think he runs Telegram and is like 4 employees, So, yeah, that's all good, man. I like that. I love that model. M24. What's M24 saying? Bachelor and Master CS, Computer Science, from a good university. PJ, I use PHP, Symfony, SQL, and took internship, and I really don't need to switch to the career I don't like it just for a job, but I don't know what the job go on. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure. And I'm not criticizing Mr. M234 because not everybody speaks English as their first language. So, or he had too much to drink. But yeah, as I was speaking to somebody today from the Mideast, and his English was much better than my Arabic, so I'm not going to be criticizing anybody there. So if I start at the age of 15 to freelance, what need to learn to make some revenue? Like what here, there, and trend freelance industry for web? So learn the basics of the web. If you want to freelance, Mr. Catalin, I don't know if you're he, she, or they, there, or whatever. Mr. Catalin, I would say learn the web. So learn HTML5, CSS3, then learn WordPress, and then learn a little PHP, and you're going to find there's a lot of opportunity there. It's all that. Those are you can rewind that. HTML5, CSS, PHP, and WordPress, and you'd be good. Uncle, I can't even get a help desk job with a bachelor's in CS. Really? Have you asked why they're not hiring you? Could be social skills or something. I don't know. Thanks for the advice, Uncle. We'll stick to no learning, gets wasted, and just code. Yeah, code. See, once you learn your foundations of coding, you don't want to get caught in tutorial hell where you're just writing code and doing tutorials. You want to write code. Go out there and write code. Because what will happen, you're going to start getting paid to learn new stuff. So don't worry about that. Nix. I'm 38, 2 jobs, learning JavaScript at night. Thank you for your content, really motivating. Hey, that's cool. That's it. One thing, when you're young, right? For the young, let me get this in place here. For the young people watching, when you're young, typically you have no money, but you have your youth. And ask anybody my age or older, and they're going to say, I wish I was in your position. So you have the huge asset of being young and full of energy. So now's your opportunity. 38, I still consider that pretty young. You have a lot of opportunity, a lot of time ahead of you. Once I figured out how to do it, meaning my career-wise and so forth, then I was able to find myself having to work to being able to retire within 4 years. It's very doable. You just got to figure out how to do it. And I'm not talking about, being Zuckerberg or Elon Musk or hitting some. You can do it through a whole bunch of different things that you could do in code. Semi-passive or passive income streams, proper saving, proper investing. Within a few years, you find yourself in a fantastic position. So at 38, you have a lot of energy now. Your brain capacity is very, very good. So now's the time to put a lot of effort into it. But I can't get into junior position. It's hard for me, M24, to diagnose your situation because I don't know everything about you. Carol says, having an emergency fund is for me the number one health tip. Yeah, that's 100%. When you have that emergency fund, it's so much less stress. You don't need the job. You don't need the work. You're going to negotiate positions much better, whether it be contracts or getting jobs. It's just so much easier. It's so much easier. I considered myself retired when when my passive income and semi-passive income was well exceeding my requirements, my bills per month. I think I had 5 years of FU money, and I had much more savings than my contemporaries at the time. And so I backed off. It was like 30 years old, 32, and I basically did absolutely nothing, for about 10 years till I got really bored. And it's all doable. Again, I didn't fall ass backwards into some huge, super successful. I just managed my money, managed my lifestyle, and had several passive and semi-passive income streams coming in. It was good. Ibrahim, breaking down Bootstrap code-only protection against SQL injections for web developers is enough. Uncle Steph, please answer my queue. If you can see my queue, return, please answer me. Yeah, SQL injections is the number one vector of attack for web apps. Servers should be locked down by the hosting company, right? All the ports should be shut down. There should be a strong firewall in place. Make sure your passwords are really strong. Make sure your database is encrypted. That's it, Chances of you being hacked are very little because why would they want to hack you? They're going to want to hack somebody interesting. Not that you're not an interesting person. Yeah. Annual recurring revenue. What sofa is that? Oh, the sofa. There you go. Uncle Steph likes spending money on expensive furniture. Unfortunately, that's my bad habit. This is Roche-Beaubois, a French company. Roche-Beaubois, Bobois. Roche-Beaubois. It's in their collection. Here's the thing. When you buy high-end furniture holds its value and goes up in value. So I have a couple chairs here. You see that wood chair there? This thing right here? Very famous chair, Eames molded plywood chair. And when I bought that thing, it was insanely expensive. I was like, wow, that's expensive. But I bought it because I liked the design. Each one has a serial number, highly regarded. And I remember when I moved from a place, I had a set of chairs from the same company. I was moving from a place, and I didn't want to move the furniture, so I just put it up for sale. And I was able to sell it for what I paid. For a bunch of reasons. Anyway, so I was able to sell for what I paid. It was easy. I had all kinds of people because it's highly sought after. So these chairs, since I bought them, I bought these ones afterwards, they're worth triple what I paid now. So I could sell them double what I paid. That's about 12 years ago. I bought these, 15. And people will buy them. So they're great investments. That's the thing. When you can afford very high-end furniture, it actually saves you money in the end, because this high-end stuff actually holds its value. I'm clipping the mic a little bit. My apologies. I really want to start freelancing, but I find it very hard on Fiverr and Upwork. What are your tips? Well, you gotta build up that skill. Like learning to find jobs and quoting them and bidding them properly is a skill set, right? So you just got to work on building that skill. Not to sell you it, but I got a freelancer course. You might want to buy it. It's like $29. It's cheap. And you just got to start building reputation, start getting gigs, start getting projects, you know. Let's turn down this mic. It's a little loud, I think. Hold on. All right. Yeah, let me know if the sound is clear enough for you guys. Yeah. I miss doing these lives. It's cool. We get good questions. I am Saudi Arabia, and I'm trying to find my way into web dev, but there is no community around me. What should I do? Online communities. There is under this video, there is my Discord channel, and there's a community, strong community of developers, web developers from all over the world. I would check that out. And yeah. They're making a reference. Hold on, I'm just reading the comments here. Bear with me. If you have time, reach over and give me a thumbs. Hit that thumbs up button. Hold on. Okay, there's something about ARR. Anyway, whatever. Let's scroll down here. Yeah, that's the guy. That was interesting. Like, you know, people who know me, I've been preaching forever that, you know, when people were crapping all over PHP, I said, no. PHP is very, very productive. PHP, SQL Lite, really even Lite, eh? And jQuery, yeah. They're very good. You know. See, you got to understand, when Facebook created React, they created for their needs, which was enterprise, very specific. But so many projects, you don't need a full-fledged framework, you know? You can do stuff really simple. Like, I'll give you an example. It was a long time ago. Back in the 90s, there was this woman, friend of a friend, and she worked for an accounting firm, I think. And she realized that a lot of accountants needed some sort of spreadsheet with some calculations and stuff. I forget what it calculated. Anyway, a simple little app. It was in a spreadsheet, basically some VBA in a spreadsheet, and it solved the problem for accountants and for bookkeepers. Put it online for sale, and apparently she made millions and millions of dollars selling this spreadsheet. Yeah, pretty good, you know. So you don't have to have the Instagrams and the Facebooks and you know, and these huge home run sites, TikToks, to make it. There's a lot of opportunity in small first base hits, as they say in baseball. It doesn't have to be huge. How are we doing here? 30 minutes already, wow. Infinite Youth. I wanted to become a freelancer, so I jumped into Python hype train 2 years ago. However, I realized that JavaScript, PHP, MySQL was the way to go. Can I still use my Python skills to make money? For sure. Because you have to, as you mature as a programmer developer, what you have to realize is that if you learn Python, you've already learned a lot about PHP and JavaScript, right? If you learn PHP, you've already learned a lot about Python, right? Functions are functions, variables are variables, arrays are arrays. Parsing arrays is parsing arrays. Yes, they do it in different ways, but it's very, very similar. So you did not waste your time learning Python, because your Python understanding will translate 100% into JavaScript and PHP, and you'll do well, so don't worry about it. Good. Any thoughts on the current drama in the WordPress community? I haven't looked at it too closely. I would have to take a look at it, But I've heard about it, though. Good to see you live again. Been too long. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for coming back to the stream. I enjoy doing this. Now that I got this funky lens here. You see, that's my hobby is cameras. So I like little funky lenses. Anyway. Finally catching live from you, Steph. I'm making my way through Studioweb courses right now. Hey, very cool, EB. Good stuff. If you're wondering, you check the links below. I have solo self-paced courses that are totally different from anybody else's in the world. Studioweb. Check it out. Links below. If you want the full mentorship, you can check out UncleSteph.com. This is the full Steph here. The full Steph experience. Uncle Steph. Hi, Uncle Steph. How have you been? I've been pretty good. Been lifting weights. Been hitting the heavy bag again. First time in years. I used to box, if people don't know. So I'm starting to hit the heavy bag. As you get older, what you lose is your reflex starts to go away. But the power stays. So I still got the power. So I'm feeling good because I'm exercising, trying to eat better. How many hours a week should I learning programming so I can be more effective at learning? I'm learning JS. Some advice, please help. All right. Here is the solution for learning. So if you don't know, besides being a developer since '94, I've been working with schools for 14 years now. I develop curriculum and software. I actually started building educational apps in the late 90s. I built one for Big Pharma. Anyway, come from a family of teachers. So how do you learn effectively? Take out your pencils. Number one, daily exposure. You want to, if you're learning something new, whether it be coding or whatnot, you want to do a little bit every day, 4 to 5 days a week. You need to take time off. So maybe learn Monday, Tuesday, take Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday, take Saturday, Sunday off, repeat. You don't want to spend more than 3 to 4 hours at a particular learning session. Why? Because your brain can only take in so much information at a time. It's like working out. You're not gonna get any bigger faster if you train excessively. The optimal is like 2 to 3 times a week for training for the muscles, because the muscles have to grow. Same thing when you're learning anything new. You have to give your brain time to make the new neural connections. Boop, boop, boop. And that takes time. And the healthier you are, you eat good food, you drink lots of water, you exercise, the quicker you're going to learn, by the way. So, and the final tip with regard to coding, you got to write code every day, even if it's 20 minutes. And even if you don't quite understand what you're writing, write the damn code. And when you write a piece of code and you get it to work, so let's say you write you're doing JavaScript, you're starting off and you're working in the browser, and you write a function, you just use the alert, you spawn an alert box. That's the old way we used to teach people. So you spawn that alert box and then break it. Then try to break the code once you get it to work. You got to do that. You got to break the code, make it work, fix it, break it again, break it in a different place, look at the error messages. You do that, it will start coming. One day, when you learn with this strategy, one day you're going to wake up and something that was incomprehensible to you or you did not understand, all of a sudden it will be very understandable. There you go. Hi, Uncle. I'm from Moldova, a country near Ukraine and Romania. Additionally, there's no need to learn JavaScript. I don't know. Again, look at the demand in your area, first of all. And also, if you learn JavaScript and you find there isn't any demand, it doesn't matter because you've learned how to program. All these languages, JavaScript, PHP, C#, Java, Python, they're all very similar in many respects. Do you think Laravel framework is still good for freelancers regards from Croatia? Laravel is great for rapid application development. So that means good for small business development, freelance. Although you're going to find a lot more freelance jobs just working with WordPress or Drupal or something. But yeah, it's good. I use Laravel in Studioweb. Could PHP in the current market be a better option to learn than Node.js because Node.js is a more popular thing to learn while there's still PHP? It depends on the type of jobs you're looking for. First thing you do is you learn your basics, the foundations as I call them. And then what you do is you look at the job market in your area or where you want to be. You're going to find where's the demand. And then you make your choice based on that. Dominic, longtime fan. Thanks for joining. Wondering what you think is the most efficient way to get new freelance web development clients. I had a couple over the last few years, but I'm looking for a consistent way for it. Well, you want to get up a website that looks good. You want to start writing articles about what you do, which are SEO geo-targeted to whatever region you want to serve. And you got to start talking to people. Good old-fashioned networking. Tell your previous clients, hey, I still do this type of stuff. All right, what's happening in WordPress wars? Nowadays, I trade and developer for income. You're a trader and you are a developer you do both. Okay. I've been developing web apps for almost 8 years using Angular. I start feeling bored doing it. How do you manage to keep all of those years and still love what you do? I switch off. I do different things. So I started off just basic web design. Then I did Perl CGI, basic app development. Then I went into ASP development. Then I jumped into Java, and then I did some weird, wacky stuff. I think it was Fox Pro, and then I did stuff with Macromedia Director, Lingo programming, and then I did some stuff with .NET, and then I did some PHP, and then we did a Ruby app. Don't tell anybody. And so you mix it up, and that's my life. Like I'm doing this now. It started out as a hobby. But it's an extension of what it is. I like doing the lives. I like doing YouTube. I like consulting with people. So I would mix it up. If you're bored of Angular, then start learning something else. Maybe look for other jobs in another area you may like. Spend some time figuring out what you like to do. It's very common for people to switch jobs up. Hey, Stefan, do you think learning web development, HTML, CSS, etc. is still a wise choice for a beginner? Yes, 100%. I think it's the best choice. Looking to learn after work hours, I gave your web design book, I meant as well, suggestions. Yeah, so start with my book, learn the basics, then maybe you can check out my Studioweb courses or my mentoring program. But I believe the web is the way to go to get in the game. I don't know, the divorce would be too expensive. Thank you. I do love Roche Beaubois. I prefer Ligne Rosette because it's more affordable. I don't know Ligne Rosette. Yeah, Beaubois is a little ostentatious, a little pretentious. I'm very selective about Beaubois. I much prefer Eames. I would look that up. If you guys are interested in like super high quality furniture that's actually pragmatic and cool and will gain value, when you're in a position to do so, Eames, E-A-M-E-S, Herman Miller, Eames. Well, Herman Miller basically provides the Eames stuff for the most part. The sound is good. Have a great day, chat. Uncle, gotta go. All right, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. How are we doing? 40 minutes. All right. So we're good. We're good. Next question. Trey Brown. Hey, Trey. Hey, how are you? I recognize old timer here. Just learned Python after being rejected for my Java interview. Still doing Java, but I'm working on building projects. Yeah, build projects. Reach out to people. Start networking. I don't know about you guys, but I'm on my phone. I don't have the thumbs up button. Carol. Yeah, well, actually, you're on X, right? Carol, it sounds like you're on X. That's interesting. Well, make a comment on X afterwards. See, I'm doing multi-streams right now. I'm on X. I think I'm on Facebook. I think there's like 2 people watching me on Facebook. I know you recommend offering the first 3 to 4 clients for free to build a portfolio. I'm ready to get my first clients with a great team behind me, focusing on acquisition and negotiations. All right, cool, man. Very cool. You already got a team. That's nice. How to start a SaaS business. You got to find the demand. You have to find the demand, right? You have to see, oh, there's an opportunity here. Coffee shops need this, or I don't know, plumbers need that. That's how you go with that. Should I buy Bitcoin? Ooh, yeah. I think the Bitcoin action, I don't know, it could still go up from now. But I think the big action is finished. You got to move on to something else. Maybe. Could go up, could go down. But at this point, I think last time I checked, it's 60-something thousand USD. Yeah. The time to buy Bitcoin was 10 years ago, you know? Or the time to buy NVIDIA was like 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. That's good. Python's good. Millions and millions for Excel, macros, and VBA. Lost opportunity there. Yeah, trust me. Well, it was not so much about the complexity of the code. It was about the fact that it was a very needed application, and nobody was providing it. So there you go. You got to remember, this was back in those days, you know. Where does leak code fit into all of this, Uncle? I'm not a leak code guy, so I'm not the right person to ask. Steph, also, how do you stay consistent with projects? I tend to overthink projects and not stick to the plan. Ah, yes. That's a form of scope creep. Scope creep. So you want to avoid that. I would just, what I do, I'm old school. I write out what I need to do, and I just implement each point, bang, 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 bang. And I don't get caught up in tangents. I try to get the full application working from A to Z, and I ignore all kinds of, oh, maybe we could do this here, maybe we could do that here. No. Just get it working. And you want to get it into the hands of people. That's how you do that. Hey, Pablo, how are you? Yeah, as well. It's been a long time since I've done a live stream. Thanks for joining. What is that light bar on the side of your setup? Thanks. This? This is an Amaran light. Amaran light. It's a light that people use for videography. That's what it is. Hey, how you doing, man? Mickey Witz, I guess. Good evening, Stefan. How are you doing? I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well yourself. I'm doing pretty good. It's been a while. The brain. 15 years later, I'm still learning. Well, I hope you're making money as you're doing it. You're always learning, right? You're always learning. I'm learning new stuff all the time. But you got to be making money. Hey, how are you? Does a senior software engineer write public tests for a junior software engineer? Depending on the business, depending on the company, you know? Depending on the code. C#, Kotlin, Rust, back, front, mobile. Rust for mobile? Really? Is that true? I haven't heard that. A big thing about coders that you want to start to freelance, you need a basic course on marketing. You got to know how to market. My freelance course can help with that. I'm actually thinking about doing that. I haven't done it. People have been asking me. It's, my YouTube channel, I got 260,000 subs. and 2,500 videos or so. I know a little bit about all this stuff. I might put out a course on that. I'm not sure. On marketing. Hey, Steph. Whoa, get this guy here. Hey, Steph, following for years. Thanks for watching. Saw a clip from you in the 90s throwing some kung fu kicks. Amazing. Meadow yellow first red. Ah, you like my kung fu kicks? Yeah, I digitized some very old footage. I just got it digitized a few weeks ago. Yeah, I used to do white crane kung fu. Yeah, maybe I'll put it on YouTube at some point. That's kind of... JavaScript is greater in Java. Cameron. Hey, Uncle Steph, I just got your mentoring program. Well, welcome to the program. How long do you think it will take me before to get started freelancing? Depends on, assuming you know absolutely nothing, you're looking at about 300 hours, 350 hours where you get your first gig. Depends on you, though. Everybody's different. But count on about 300 hours, give or take. Hi, Uncle Steph. What book would you recommend about coding for beginners? For total beginners, just get my book. It's going to teach you the web stuff. It's for total beginners. It's older, I know, but I wrote it to be evergreen. You can find it on Amazon. Highly regarded, just about all 5-star reviews. If you are a total beginner in code, just get my book. I'm not making money on it, so it's just well written. Easy. Or you take my Studioweb course, links below. Actually, I think there's links below the video for my Amazon book too. They should use Laravel, Octane, and Swole or Roadrunner. Your application will be faster than Go. Steph, Trump or Kamala? Do I think who I think is going to win? Very difficult. Very difficult. Here's the thing I've been watching U.S. elections for decades now. I don't watch football, but I watch U.S. elections. For some reason, I find it interesting. And I'm not a U.S. citizen. I'm Canadian. Hold on. Before I get into this, do not get triggered. Don't let other people's ideas and thoughts get you angry, because then you're just giving away your power. Don't give away your power. Don't give away your power. One of the things I was trained in some martial arts styles was to not react to pain, even in boxing. One of my breakthroughs when I was learning to box from my coach was an amazing fighter, 77-2 record, is when I used to get punched, when I would get hit, I would want to get the guy back, and that's wrong. You want to stay totally cool and collected and calm, even in a fight, especially in a fight. And so when it comes to politics or anything, somebody insults you, my advice, and it's easier said than done, trust me. My advice is don't react to it, because when you react to it, you're giving your power to them. If you're letting words drive you crazy, you're just giving away your power. A powerful individual is not affected by what other people say or other people think. So whether you're a Trump supporter, a Kamala supporter, fine, whatever. Now, in terms of who I think is going to win, very close. These elections are always razor thin. Comes down to tens of thousands of votes. That's it. So at the end of the day, I don't think there's going to be a big difference necessarily between one or the other, because what they try to do in the media and the parties, they want to drum up fear, because fear is a big motivator in our basic lizard brain neurology. They use fear to drive behavior. So don't let them control you. Remember Dune, fear is the mind killer. Try not to be impacted by this. That said, I do have fun debating with people about these things. So I don't know who's going to win. It's super tight. Although I think the momentum is going in Trump's direction ever so slightly. And I'm not advocating for Trump. I'm just saying I think that's the latest polls, but the polls are all over the place. That said, I remember when Kamala ran for the primary for the Democrats back in the day, she got booted out really early by the Democrats. So I'm wondering if they really like her. I don't know. Kamala, by the way, she grew up right here in my hometown. She grew up for several years right down the street from me. I lived actually probably within 5-10 minutes walk of her at 15 years ago. She lived in a part of town called Westmount in Quebec, and Westmount is one of the wealthiest places in the world. Billionaires live there, millionaires live there. So she lived in Westmount, not at the same time as me. I lived in Westmount after her because she was there as a kid, and I moved there as an adult. So I used to live in Westmount, and it's not far from here. It's like 5 minutes drive away, and that's where she lived. So she's a Montrealer. And in fact, Trudeau, the prime minister of our country, he grew up there as well. So if Kamala wins, you're going to have two people who grew up in Westmount, Quebec, running North America. Isn't that funny? That's funny. What a world. I'm ready to get my first client with my great team of coders with 8 years experience. I'm learning for 20 minutes a day, as you suggested. How do you see this strategy fitting into my situation? Well, you got to get your head wrapped around development first and coding. Get your website up and running if it's not already up and running. And once you've done that, then start working on the marketing, get the website up, so on and so forth. Start marketing on the web. Start reaching out to people. That's the story there. Fellow Floridian, glad you survived the storm. Hey, Chris, I'm not in Florida right now. I wish I was because I love Florida. But I'm glad you survived the storm. That's cool. Unfortunately, I don't know how long I'm going to be going down to Florida this year. I'm just really busy. I might move down there, though. I have friends who live there. It's great. I spent all winter last year in Florida just checking it out. Love it. I was in Delray Beach. I met people there. Met a few people there. I like it. It's a good part of town. It's great to catch you live. Your videos are truly inspiring. I've learned so much from you, both in programming and content creation. Hey, cool. Glad I could help. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Would you guys be interested if I put out I have another channel where it's more general. It's on other things. If I put out training on content creation, would that be at all interesting to you? I'll tell you what mics to use, how to rig sound, how to light cameras, lenses, how to get out there, how to build a fairly popular YouTube channel. Let me know. What would you do if you were your 20-year-old self? That's a good question, Jay. So what would old, decrepit Uncle Steph do if he was back in his 20s again? It depends. There's so many variables. For example, before there was a period of time where I wanted to become a professional fighter. But then I got a blood disease, almost died. So you can't be a professional fighter when you have a blood disease. So I had to stop doing that. And then there was a lot of business. Last time I had a job working for somebody, I was 18 or 19 years old as a bouncer in a nightclub. So I've had businesses ever since. And not all tech. What would I do if I were in my 20s? Okay. Today, not the back in the 100 years ago when I was in my 20s. If I were today and I was 20 years old, what would I do? Well, I would educate myself. Again, it's worked for me. I would be doing the coding because I think it's a superpower. I'd be jumping into AI. I'd be developing healthier habits younger. I develop healthier habits older, but I would be developing healthier habits younger. Eating properly, sleeping properly, blah, blah. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would be investing younger. Getting the habit of investing younger. Here's a piece of advice. This is going to seem weird. If you want to get married, if you want to have kids, you want to do it younger than older. So if you're in college or university, you're interested, maybe you want to hook up with that girl, meaning find a woman you want to marry younger rather than later. Trust me, it's a lot easier when you're in school. That's one thing. Yeah. So there you go. The environment has changed today. I would still do that. Yeah. Here we go. I have a year of experience as a WordPress developer. I'm having a hard time finding a job. I've been learning to code for 3 years, and I'm having a hard time keeping motivation with countless rejections. Have you been asking? Have you been asking why you've been rejected? Have you been getting some feedback from people in that regard? That would be an important thing to do. It's hard for me to say why. Why are you getting rejected? What's going on, right? That's the key. Hi, Steph. For one to be able to develop an MVP or a nice web application, which framework is suitable? How is Django? So MVP, for people who don't know, means minimum viable product. So basically, he's got an idea for a piece of software, and he's wondering how to best do that, how to best develop that piece of software. Django's cool. If you know Python and you want to work with Django, then work with Django. I know people do it, but you find personally, PHP Laravel is the easiest and the quickest to develop with. One piece of advice about MVPs, minimum viable products, is that you want to get them out as quick as possible. Don't try to make them perfect. Just make them functional enough so that they express the key functionality that you want to provide, and then see what happens, get people using it. Don't make the mistake of trying to keep refining it without people using it. The process of refining apps comes through users interacting with that app. They give you that feedback, so then you refine accordingly. Otherwise, you're going to start going down these rabbit holes where you think you may need this or need that, you need this or that, when you might not. Chances are you won't. What do you think about, what do you make of WordPress stuff going on? Yeah, I would have to look into it. I heard there's a big battle going on there, but yeah. Steph, our robot overlords are coming. Well, I personally welcome the robot overlords. They're our friends, so don't kill me. Nah, whatever. Hey, did Ruby break your heart? Face red, heart shaped face, blue smiling. Yeah. Yes, Ruby broke my heart. There's a long story behind the Ruby joke. I have to leave it to another stream. I will say, is there a book suggested projects to work on that a book of suggested projects? If you already know how to code, I would suggest finding projects to build for real. You're going to learn 10 times more, much more quickly. I would do that. Currently following the Olden project now, I have to choose a path for Ruby or JS. What option best for freelancing or job market? JS, 100%. You should be doing Studioweb and UncleSteph.com. Stefan, where would you like to relocate in the next few years? That's a very good question. I'm still debating that. I like the U.S. I have family in the U.S. I like the U.S. But I also like Southeast Asia. I've been to Thailand, and I briefly was in Japan, maybe Asia. I've been down to South America once. That was kind of cool. There's so many good places in the world. There's so many good places. Turkey, I want to visit Turkey. Yes, nothing's perfect. There's good and bad about everywhere. But yeah, those are my choices right now. I'm not sure though. We'll have to see what happens. But one good thing about mentoring is I get to talk to people from all over the world all the time. It's cool. It's great stuff. A lot of fun. Wanting to learn some new low-level programming to stand out. Should I learn Rust or go in the long term? Love your videos, by the way. The Wandering Developer. In terms of what languages to learn, look at the job market and look at the demand. There might be, I'm just guessing here, might be an opportunity to get into Rust, because Rust is sort of on the rise, it's on the ascent. So I would, without any other knowledge, I would say go Rust. What do you know about marketing? Quite a bit. I've brought several products to market. I have a background in psychology. I'm not a psychologist, but marketing is all about psychology, so I understand that whole mechanism. And so I know a lot about, quite a bit about marketing actually. Steph is relying on generated code of LLMs is bad for when coding out project. No, if it works, use it. What are my top 3 rules of development? Rule number 1, reuse. Rule number 2, reuse. And rule number 3, reuse. So reuse code. Don't go looking for code to write. If an LLM is able to write the code or chunks of code that's functional and works, I would use it. We got Sam the man. I've been developing for 15 years now. Been on a few interviews now for jobs. It seems harder as a dev to find new jobs nowadays. Yeah, I imagine it is. You see, we had this big hiring craze during COVID. People were going nuts, meaning the companies, hiring everybody and his neighbor. Some stray cat would walk by and they'd ask the cat, do you know HTML? And the cat would go, meow, all right, you got a job, lead. So they've now cleaned house. They're cleaning house because they overhired, I think, during COVID. And, they're worried about the market and so on. U.S. election plays a role. So they're not hiring as much. I've seen this cycle before. It will come back. So it's, that's why you have FU money. That's why you diversify. Just keep learning, keep training, keep applying to jobs. It's not a brute force game. It's more of you want to be more targeted in terms of your resumes and your jobs. Maybe start freelancing. But I've seen the cycle before. It will come back. Jobs will come roaring back again. So don't worry about it. I don't know when. Could be a year from now. Could be 6 months from now. Could be 2 years from now. I don't know. But it will come back. Hey, son, have you any relocation in mind? Where would you like to go? I got that one already. What are some of the ways to find code to reuse? Well, if you're using a framework, you're reusing code. If you're using a library, you're reusing code. You may have your own set of code. You may have your own set of objects that you've developed over the years. That's what I did. You reuse code. Using templates, visual templates for web apps and web design. That's reusing code. Using jQuery, using code. Hello from Greece. Paris from Greece. Next.js or Remix? Ooh, that I don't know. I don't have an opinion. I've heard of Next. I haven't heard of Remix. So I would just look at job opportunities and take it from there. Greece is beautiful. Greece is beautiful. LT Gen V or Gen 5. I've been planning in conducting a full-time business in contracting. That's cool. That works. Steph will win. Yes, sir. Calm and collective. Good. You're right on code. Trump and Kamala are the same, at least for us non-Americans. But to be honest, Trump is much funnier than Kamala. That's Trump's secret power. Love him or hate him, he's a gifted comedian. Even, what's his name? Dave Chappelle, who does not like Trump. He said he went to see a Trump rally. He said Trump is one of the funniest comedians out there. He's a comedian. That's his appeal to his base. He's a very funny guy. And that's not an endorsement. He's a funny guy. He's a comedian. I'm building a WordPress site for a client and have never worked with WordPress or clients before. What's the best way for me to host the site in a cheap manner? Also, should I make them buy a domain? First of all, you should have them pay for the domain and the hosting. You don't want to be in there paying it with your credit card and then have to collect the money. Bad news. Don't do that. But you can choose a hosting company for them. So find a hosting company and get an affiliate account with the hosting company, because they'll kick you back $50, $100, depending US dollars, to get them that client. So there's a little bit there. And then have your client buy it. So you set it up for them, but you say they got to use their credit card, their email address, they renew, but use your code. So that's the first thing. Just learn WordPress. Dealing with clients is very important, Alim, that the relationship between you and the client is well established before you start. Make sure you have a very simple but solid contract so that when they sign off on the job, that they can't come back to you 6 months later or 3 months later, 2 weeks later, say, hey, I need this now. No. You have to have that sign off. Where I talk about that. You can look up other videos on my YouTube. I've talked about that at length. Or you can get my freelancer course as well, where I provide contracts and everything. But very important, what will mean the difference between success or failure in a freelance context is the expectations and the fulfillment of the expectations as far as the client is concerned. If they're happy, the job is done. If they're not happy, no matter what you've done, the job is not done. So you got to make sure you're happy. And to establish happiness with the client, you have to establish the expectation as far as the client is concerned in the beginning. What they expect to get out of this. Very important. Don't mess that up. But congratulations, by the way. First client, fantastic. The first is the hardest. It's the learning. Don't worry about making too much money, but make money. Learn the process. Don't you think it would be more effective to use lottery to elect president rather than polls, which are just as random? Well, polls they're not supposed to be random. Like I learned a little bit about that in psych in university. If a poll if it's done properly and you have like a sample, meaning you poll maybe, I think it's like 5,000 people or 2,000 people, I forget the number now. It's pretty representative of the whole, first of all. But polls can be subtly adjusted. How you ask the question, to whom you ask the question. So polls I think they use polls to create a narrative, to generate enthusiasm or try to suppress votes. I think that jig is up. People have figured that out. So for example, we're going to talk about U.S. since we're in the U.S. So you have Republicans and you have Democrats. So a pollster who works for Democrats, who wants to boost the Democrats and deflate the conservatives, the right-wingers, they'll do a poll of 1,000 people or 500 people, whatever it is, but they'll sample a little bit more Democrats. So it'll be like 40%, it'll be 35% Republicans, 40% Democrats, and the rest independents. And then they go, look, Democrats are higher. The Democrats are doing better in the polls, but you have to dig down and see what the sampling is. That's why when you get closer and closer to election day, the big swings go away because the pollsters want to look professional, so they stop BSing in their polls. They start weighting them more accurately, and sometimes they're just wrong too. None of these things are perfect sciences. It's interesting. Just enjoy the ride. Kyle Billa, it's called the American Dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. George Carlin. Famous video. Yeah. Steph, do you think C++ will ever go away? Laugh out loud. Nah, probably not. It's too perfect. When you have technologies that are so woven into the infrastructure of the web, like WordPress, like C++, like Java, like C#.NET, like JavaScript, like Python, like HTML5, like SQL, these technologies are never going away. Never. No chance. They're just too big. I think you could turn it on a current channel once you are showing up so seldom. What coffee are you drinking? I'm drinking McDonald's coffee. It was just convenience. Holiday today, so I'm just drinking McDonald's coffee. Bill 200. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. I don't mind. Wim Eats the World. Pleasure to see you live again. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for sharing the wisdom of the ages and the sages. D'Angelo Barksdale. Hey, Steph. Why do you think it's easy to get married and have? Why so you think it's easy to get married and have kids younger? I'm not saying it's. Well, you see, it has to do with psychology of the species, in that men can have kids. We can have kids at 80 years old. Women, though, they have a period where they're able to handle that as be 20 to 30. I think 30 is getting a little late. And it gets more and more dangerous for women. So biologically, they are programmed, as we're programmed in certain ways, they're programmed in different ways. Biologically, they're programmed to have kids. You see it hit hard in their late 20s. And so what happens, if you want a family and so on, you're going to meet, the women have to be in their 20s. Well, not have to, but it's easier. It's a lot easier. It's better off. So in women, not all cases, but women tend to, I think the stats shows, these are all stats, not opinion, stats. They tend to, I think, want to date guys or marry guys about 3 to 4, 5 years older. Some will do much older, some will, but that's generally the trend. Why? Because the older guys, men tend to, we mature more slowly. And it takes a few more years for us to establish ourselves financially enough to be able to take care of kids. That's it. So you just have more options in the 20s, early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, versus when you're in your 40s and 50s. That's all. It's just a probability thing. And I just observed it in my life. In my life, I found that when I was in my 20s, I had a lot of women I could have married. Now that I'm much older, I don't want to get married. But, the amount of women out there is like, because they're all married, Yeah. I believe the hardest part of a large-scale application is the database sharding. Yeah. But that's rare. How often you need to do that, Should we convert our WordPress sites to a PWA and forget about App Store hassle and percentage cut? It's not WordPress. You mean you're talking about iOS, right? You're talking about iOS. Yeah, well, even the biggest companies in the world who are providing mobile development, mobile apps, they will look at PWA implementations, cross-platform implementations first, just to save costs, so you don't have to maintain multiple code bases. Yeah. All right, how we doing? Appreciate the thumbs, guys. Thumbs would be appreciated. I know you have some experience with a dating app, Stefan. Do you think there are possibilities in dealing with people who struggle with loneliness? Do you think there are possibilities in dealing with people who struggle with loneliness? What do you mean by that question? Do you think it's possible to help people deal with their loneliness? Yes. Are you asking me, you would put together some sort of dating app dealing specifically with lonely people? I'm not sure. It's a vague question. Interesting question, though. If you get to Mr. Rotaru, if you get to that before I end the stream, I'd be happy to answer further. I'm doing a Ruby on Rails project. It's not bad, honestly. Later versions need to be more mature. Yeah, I'm only joking around about Ruby, by the way. It has its place. I kind of like aspects of the Ruby language. Do you think the tech job market will turn back into employees market again soon? It will turn back. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure when. Could be in 6 months. Could be a year from now. I don't know. I heard UX is also mostly psychology. A lot of it is. Colors, placement, buttons, how the eyes follow things on the page. My psych background in university, I'm not a psychologist, so that was my major in university, has had a tremendous impact. It allowed me to be a much better UX UI developer. Yeah, that's pretty good. Laravel for freelancing is pretty good, but WordPress is better. It's just not because WordPress is better, it's just because there's more jobs. What do you think about Golang? Haven't used it, but Devilix, yo. I recognize. How are you doing? Look at my new bokeh hand. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, this is the, if you're a proper developer, you can do this. And if you're a master developer, you can do this. Two at the same time. Double guns. All right, how are we doing? An hour and 20 minutes. Okay, guys. Dating app, best stack for today. Just because you got the Dave Chappelle icon there, I'll answer this question. Dating app, best stack for today. For web dating, I would say Laravel PHP. Otherwise, I would do an iOS app. Yeah. All right, guys. 163, not bad. Appreciate the thumbs up. I will leave this video up for public consumption. If you like this video, please comment below. And if you want to check out my mentoring program, UncleSteph.com. And that's it. Thanks for joining. I'm going to give you my Cape Elizabeth main ASMR video for you to watch. Cheers.